Hi everyone, welcome back to Cooking with Chris, and today what I'm going to do for you is show you how to carve up a whole roast chicken, and then later I'm going to show you how to break apart a whole uncooked roaster chicken into pieces so you could cook it, whether you want to put it on the grill, you could use it in some sort of stews, you could even fry it if you want, because right now we have limited availability of what meat we could buy at the store. And you might get stuck with it. I know the other day it was hard for me to find chicken breast and some of the other usual meat that I buy. So you might find a time where you got to buy a whole roaster, but you still want to make some of the same food that you usually make. So I have a great recipe for easy roast chicken. I will share that recipe with you. But right now my chicken's already done. I'm going to show you how to break it up, and it's very simple. The other thing you could do is, everyone loves those roaster chickens that are at the grocery store. I buy them all the time. They're so convenient. They're already cooked, ready to go. Sometimes if you come home right after you buy that, it's still really hot and warm, and you could do it with this. You could cut it up like this with that one as well. So I'm gonna get started. So the first thing, the key is having a nice sharp knife, and so I have mine ready to go. And have a cutting board that's also not moving anywhere. So a trick to use is use a wet paper towel or a damp paper towel, put it right under your cutting board, and you're good to go. Also, it's really important to have a good cutting board. This one is one meant for meat, so it has like trenches in it. It has places, if you look in the middle here, so it's like non-stick, if you could really see that. But it catches all the juices, because a lot of times, it makes a mess. If you're cutting open, and especially if you're cutting open too early, if you don't let it rest long enough, the juices will start running out and running everywhere, and then you make a mess. This type of cutting board is meant for cutting meats, big roasts, things like that, and so it catches all those juices. And then also in the future, or depending on what you're making, those juices have a lot of flavor in them, and they're really good if you're making a gravy or making some sort of pan sauce. So you could always keep using that. So it's really important to catch those juices. It's a good, you'll have these forever, so it's an investment. It's not that expensive, but buy yourself a good cutting board, specifically for a carving cutting board, and then it really helps you out in the future. So first thing I'm going to do, I have my knife. I'm going to cut off the string. The only thing I tied up, there's some really complicated ways you could truss a chicken and all this stuff. All I did was I tucked the wings back when I roasted it, tied the wings up to the chicken, and that was it. That's the only thing I had to do. And then I seasoned it. I put butter on the outside, salt and pepper, everything, and then roasted it. And so I left the legs open because it helps them actually cook a little more even. It's not as compact, so you can get to the legs and the thigh meat a lot. Get that heat there, so it'll cook quicker. Because that's where you take the temperature. You don't want to take your breasts are going to cook faster than light meat, or white meat cooks faster than dark meat. So you don't want to check the temperature of your chicken breast of your breasts, because those are going to get to your temperature faster. You want to check the temperature of your dark meat, which are inside the thigh, because that takes longer to cook. And when that's ready, then you take your chicken out. Okay. So first thing is you're going to take these legs off. All right. So and this is after I've let it rest probably about a half an hour or so. It's still going to be warm inside. So you're just going to grab the leg. You're just going to slice down, and you can see it just opens right up. And if it's cooked well enough, the bone should really, look, I got some juices coming. The bone should really come right out of the socket here. It'd be really easy to cut. So you're just going to kind of break it. You'll see right where the bone comes out. Cut right in between that. And, whoops, made a mess. Easy. So there's your leg and thigh. We'll cut that up later. Okay, next, we're going to do the other side. We're going to, again, cut. You'll see this really light skin here. It's like almost pulling apart. Just going to cut right through. Little by little, you're going to push the leg apart, away from the chicken. Again, open it up. Look at that. The bone comes right out. That's how you know the chicken is cooked well enough. If that bone comes right out of the socket. And you're just going to cut right around there. Again, we have our other leg quarter. All right. Next, I'm going to take the wings off. Again, if the chicken's cooked well, your leg should come right out. That one came right out for me. I'm going to do the other one. Just bend it right out. Okay, and then if you have someone who likes chicken wings, well, I know we all like to eat a lot of chicken wings. Well, we only have 2 with this, so maybe you shoot for it. But okay, so now the breasts. All right, so what I do is, before I start cooking the breast, you'll see a lot of like turkeys or things, people will carve it right off the bone or whatever, going kind of like with the breast. I don't do that. I like to take the whole breast off whole and then slice it against the grain. So to do that, you're gonna just pick one side and right at the base, right at the top of where that wing was, you're just gonna make a little slit, okay, right in towards it, and you'll feel where the bone is. And then you're gonna go, and if right in the middle of the chicken, it's kind of like some cartilage, and that's where a bone is. So you're gonna kind of, first side, you're gonna just go off to the right a tiny little bit, and then the next side, you're gonna go off to the other side. So, and you're gonna try to guide your knife right along the bone there. If this is really soon after you took the oven, the chicken out, this will be really hot, so you just gotta watch out. So, little by little, I'm just cutting little strokes with the knife all the way down, and then it comes right out, and you have a whole chicken breast right here. So there's one. We're gonna turn it around. Again, I am going to make a slit at the bottom, and then I'm gonna kind of get around that bone at first. Okay. Just nice slices. Little by little, you're cutting that breast away from the bone. All right, and now we have that. Then there's a little extra meat on there. You could always pick at it. It's fun. It tastes really good. I'll have one right now. That's really good. So you could use this. You could save it. Use it for sometimes I wouldn't start with a cooked chicken bones for making chicken stock. But let's say you have some already bought chicken stock and you're doing something with it and you want to maybe improve it. Cut this up, throw this in there and simmer it in there. You'll get a lot of those flavors. It'll just make that store-bought chicken stock that much better. The other thing, there's a really good piece of meat at the bottom of here. It's kind of called the oyster. But you just kind of dig your finger under there. You'll find a piece of meat, kind of goes in. And it's supposedly this is the most tender part of a chicken. Okay, so I'm going to get, there's one on each side. I'm going to pull that out. Okay, we have those. And then the last two things we're going to do, we're going to separate the thigh from the leg. So you can kind of see there's a little line there where the drumstick is, right in the skin. So you're just going to cut down there to open it up. And again, if you're cooked well, that bone should come right out of the socket. You cut right down. We have one drumstick and a thigh. Same thing on this side. Okay, it's opposite here. Sometimes it's not gonna be perfect every time. You're not gonna have the perfect shapes every time of the drumstick and the thigh, but it still tastes good if it doesn't look perfect. All right. So now we have our two legs, two thighs, and now we have our breast. And all I do, so instead of cutting with the breast with the grain, I cut against it, maybe about a ½ inch thick, and you just have your slices here. Very simple. Keep that whole for good presentation. You have that ready to go. Next one. You get some crispy skin. You have it right on there with each slice. Wow, that's definitely crispy. All right. We have our two breasts. We have our wings. Our thighs. Our two legs. And you're ready to eat. All right, enjoy. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to cut up a whole raw chicken. Okay, so there's a lot of different, obviously you could cook this whole, but there's a lot of different things you could do with this once you cut it up. And sometimes it's cheaper to buy whole pieces of meat because every time they cut it, they add a little cost on there. So whole chicken, if you think about all the pounds and everything, it's more expensive than if you just bought chicken breasts or like per pound, or just bought thighs or wings and legs. So everything is good. So when things are whole, it's a lot cheaper to buy it. So then you can cut it up yourself. So there's a lot of things you could do with a whole cut up chicken breast or roaster. Obviously, you could cut it up into your two legs, your two thighs, your two breasts, and your wings. You could grill those individually. You could braise those somehow if you're making some sort of braise or something. Or you could a lot of times if you're like a real good chicken soup recipe, if you're going to start from scratch, you're going to take just the breast on the bone, which adds a lot of flavor, and you're going to simmer those in a stock, and then the rest of the meat and the rest of the bones and everything is going to be part of your stock, and then you take out the breast, shred it up, and then drain your stock, and then you have your chicken broth. and then you just go from there, adding your basic stuff. So there's a lot of different things you could do once you cut this up. So it's a good technique to know how to. It's a good thing to know how to do. I have a cookbook that it's called Tools and Techniques, and it shows you step by step what to do. I gave it a shot a while ago, and you just kind of, little by little you get better. If you make mistakes, it's okay, but it's worth trying, and it's a good skill to learn. So first thing is you have a whole chicken. The one thing I would recommend for when you're working with any chicken, but especially a whole chicken, is you don't want to rinse it in the sink. That's one thing you don't want to do. I know it has a lot of juice and everything on there. You don't want to rinse it under the sink, because what happens is the sink splatters and the water splatters. So then you're putting bacteria and everything everywhere. So the best thing to do is just take it out. I like to get one of these trays here or whatever. I line it with paper towels. I put it on. I take it out of the packaging in the sink. I put it on there, and then I just wipe it all down with paper towels till it's nice and dry. And so that's a lot better and safer than rinsing it. And the other thing, just make sure, I know you've heard this a million times, make sure you're working with chicken. Wash your hands. If you touch anything, wash it afterwards. Try to touch as little as you can. When you go back to the sink, you need to use like your wrist to get some soap and everything, or turn on the sink, so that so just make sure you're safe with that. So I'm going to show you. There's a handful of steps. I'm just going to show you how to do it. All right. So first, a couple tools you could use. One, obviously, a nice, good, sharp knife. The other one, are a good pair of kitchen shears. And I would highly recommend getting a pair of these for yourself. I have this one, which is from Pampered Chef. Somehow I got it a long time ago. I like this one a lot. It's pretty strong. The other one, if you just have these type of scissors, these kitchen scissors, and then they're easy to clean because you can take them apart and get inside and everything. So, so if you have a pair of these or some real kitchen shears, that makes a big difference. And also use my knife. So I usually kind of use both my kitchen shears and my knife while I'm doing this. So the first thing you want to do, if it's very similar to if you're roasting a whole chicken or you're carving a roast chicken, you're going to start with the leg. All right. And so you're going to pull the leg apart a little bit, and you're going to lightly just kind of draw your knife right on the skin. It just opens right up immediately if you see that. So you're just going to trace around, kind of tracing where the thigh is, and then you're going, like in the middle here where the cavity is, there's a bone there. You want to kind of get between the meat and the bone. So you're going to just continue to pull, bend the leg back, and there's a crease there. Just keep going, and then you're going to find where the bone kind of breaks out of the socket, and then you're just going to cut right through there. Okay. So that we have our whole leg. I'm going to go to the other side. Same thing. Here, I'll go this way. Same thing. Just lightly draw your knife on the skin. If it's a sharp knife, it'll cut it right immediately. And then again, you're going to carve right down. Again, it's not going to be perfect every time or ever, but just give it a shot. You're going to find that crease right in there, right where the thigh ends, and like the cavity of the chicken goes. Look at that. Easy. Opened right up. Got the thigh. Okay? Then, when you have the thigh, it's funny, you could kind of see there's like a fat line right there. That's actually where the bone, where the thigh and the bone kind of, the socket is. And so you could you're going to put your knife right through there, or your chicken, or your shears. And sometimes you might just cut the bone. It's okay. Again, it's not going to be perfect. But then we have one leg, we have one thigh. We're going to go to the other side. Again, find that line of fat right there. It's right where pretty close to where the bone ends. This one I'll go a little closer. There we go. And it goes right through. Okay. Now we have our thighs. The other thing, if you ever want to get, a lot of recipes call for boneless, skinless thighs. Again, those are more expensive. I have a little fat here. Those are a little more expensive to do. You could do your own or buy bone-in thighs. It's actually really easy. Maybe one day I'll show the technique. It's really easy to cut the bone out of the thighs, and then you save yourself some money. Okay, so those are gone. Next, we're going to work over to the wing. And sometimes this gets a little messy for me, but we're just going to go, you're going to pull the wing out. You know what? I want the knife. And you're just looking for that bone. Okay? You're going to cut through. That's why having these kitchen shears really are handy. All right, so we got one leg, or one wing. We're gonna get the other. Okay, just bend it out. I'm gonna start cutting a little bit open. Go with my shears. Break right through it. Okay, and then if you want to break this down even more, you can cut the wingtip off, and you could cut. This is a little drumette of the wing, and this is the flat. So you just cut right in that corner, and then you have your flat and your drumette for your wings. All right, so now we have the whole breast, the two breasts, and the cavity. So we're gonna flip this over, and if you look, this right here is your backbone. Okay, so this is the spine, the backbone. I know sounds gross, but reality is that's what it is. So you're just gonna take your shears, you're gonna cut right on either side of your backbone. Again, you can use a knife if you want. Okay, I'm gonna turn this around. Go right down the side of the neck here. And this is great, especially, this one has so much on here. Definitely throw this in a freezer bag, put it in the freezer. After you've done a couple chickens, use this for stock. Chop it up, brown it maybe a little bit first, and then do your stock so you get a nice flavorful stock. So make sure you save those. And then the next one, so here we have our two breasts, and they're on the bone here. Okay, so you wanna, the breastbone on the inside is right in the middle there. You just got to break through that kind of membrane right there with your knife. So you're gonna run that on the edge very lightly. Get underneath there a little bit so you can grab a hold of it. Sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't. If this works, I'll go with it. If not, I'm just gonna cut through it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna hold off on that for now. So, so the last thing, you want to separate these two breasts, okay? And if you have your knife, it's really easy to go right through the middle here, okay? So you cut right through, break them apart. There's another bone over there, okay? I know I didn't get all the skin and didn't stay on there nicely, but that's okay. All right, and then we have wow, these are huge breasts. These are big chicken breasts. So then there's a couple of the scraps here just to clean it up. You're gonna cut it off or cut it with a knife, either or, okay? And then you have a nice chicken breast on the bone, skin on. We'll do the other side. Okay, so we have our two chicken breasts ready to go, and you have your broken down chicken. Enjoy. Give it a shot.